Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath and today we're going to get right into it. I was recently gifted from one of my star clients, a gold star client, this book, Psychopath Free, Recovering from Emotionally Abusive Relationships with Narcissists, Sociopaths, and Other Toxic People. And I would dare say, collective, that we each qualify and could check one of those boxes. If you're unlucky, you've had all of them. If you are somewhat unlucky, you've had one or two, but either way, this message today will be for you. The way I was guided to work through this is to pick out some of the things that were really poignant to me and start to share them in little chunks and snippets that you can easily digest, okay? So we're going to start today, especially as we're moving through the end of this year, going into the new year. We make all of these pledges to ourselves about our health, about our body, about our finances, about our feng shui, about our friendships, about our connections, about our boundaries. And so I thought this would be a great thing to lead into, just a little quick snippet here. The Psychopath Free Pledge. And so I'll read to you what it says. When the members first join our forum, we ask them to take a pledge. It's a promise that honors self-respect and encourages healthy relationships. If you follow these simple affirmations, you will find permanent freedom from toxic bonds. Now, the reason that I really like this list before I read it to you is this, because as you go through it, if you are unhealthy, as we all have been, sometimes you don't even realize that you were not setting a firm boundary in a way with a thing, and that you were not saying what needed to be said, or that you were even allowing this. And so I thought it'd be a perfect time as we enter into the new year to do this refresher and pledge to ourselves what we will not stand, tolerate, or what does not feel right with our soul. So pledge to yourself quietly, or just listen and see if you've been in connections in 2023 that you can say, oh my gosh, I allowed that to happen to me, or oh my gosh, that person tried to do that to me, or oh my gosh, that person was projecting that towards me, or oh my gosh, I was reliving familial history and pathology. Okay, it's not always someone else that is the villain. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy with not realizing how we need to set boundaries. So without further ado, number one, I will never beg or plead for someone else again. Any man or woman who brings me to that level is not worth my heart. Quick story, I was recently listening to Kiki Palmer's letters that Darius, her toxic, low vibrational, narcissistic, allegedly, I'm not a doctor, ex, levied against her. He said she was abusive, but when you really hear it, it sounds like reactive abuse. But in the letter, she is begging for him to stay and things of that nature, because he is using a tactic that narcissists love, which is avoidance, silent treatment, stonewalling, because what they want you to do is be so desperate for them that you're doing anything to get back in. Now, that is not to be misconstrued with being in any real normal disargument or fight or disagreement with your partner where you're like, I need some time away. We all have different ways that we process when we're really upset, so that's different. But you guys know, if you've been with narcissistic, toxic people, the repeated patterns of nonsense and effery that they'll put you through because they want to have power and control over your emotions. And when I was hearing her letter, I could hear the desperation of like, I don't know why I'm like this, and I don't know why I don't want you to walk away, and it's just, it's toxic. That's why. So this specifically reminds me of that. Number two, I will never tolerate criticisms about my body, age, weight, or any other insecurities I might have. Good partners won't put me down, they'll raise me up. Okay, so people have a way of being insidious and saying things just to hurt your feelings, the most silly, inane things. My mother just tonight, we were at holiday dinner, was talking about a horrible thing my father would say to her, and it was really, it's almost childish. It wasn't even mean, but it was his way of taking her power and siphoning her energy by saying that to her, so that she could start to look at herself in the mirror and question the beautiful soul that she was. Toxic toxic partners do that all the time. It's their favorite way to suck your energy, is to make you feel bad about the person that you are, no matter how comfortable you are in your skin or how much comfortable energy you once had or experienced before they got there. Number 2, I will take a step back and objectively look at my relationship at least once every month to make sure that I am being respected and loved, and not just flattered and loved bombed. Now, we know that there is a difference. We all have heard the word love bombing. I think the word narcissist is definitely overused. We know that it's our favorite word here as of late. But what I'm going to tell you is this. It is really important to understand that when you are healing, initially, when you get out of relationship with the narcissist and then you start to get into new relationships with people, as will happen, because the grass will always regrow. So even if you think you can harm it forever, the angels have a funny way of sending in new people, because that's how we really grow, is in relationship. So it doesn't mean hide and hermit forever. Definitely take your time until your sensitivities are not diminished, where you're not attuned to any effery afoot, but where you're not like so prickly that no one can even come near you, right? So when you're ready and re-immerse back in a relationship, evaluate it month by month so that you can understand, because a narcissist has a very short attention span. So they, within a few weeks to a matter of a couple months, their masks are starting to slip, and you can understand that it's love bombing. And I'll make another video just talking exactly about what love bombing is, but it is the act of having you feel so overwhelmed with their attention, love, energy, and affection, gifts, whatever, initially, that you are caught up thinking this is your perfect person, when really what they're doing is kind of projecting what they think you want, because narcissists don't have feelings and they're wild and creepy. Anyway, message. And they can't sustain it. Any good relationship, there will be moments where your partner's going to be loving towards you, and if, really communicating that to you, that they care, or they're going to give you a gift, or they're going to do whatever your love language is, okay? Whether it's acts of service, whether it's quality time, they're going to purposely seek out ways to be of service to you and please you, because that's what we do. We love people, and whether it's a friendship, a lovership, or whatever, but it's when it's the intense, oh my gosh, all consuming, and it feels a little creepy. You guys know. That's it. Number 4, I will always ask myself the question, would I ever treat someone else like this? If the answer is no, then I don't deserve to be treated like this either. This one is really powerful, because there are moments in my life where I'm listening to what someone's saying to me, or where I've had experiences, because I've definitely been triggered after getting out of some of these toxic relationships, where I'm like, I would never do that to this person. I would never be ungrateful. I would never, whatever my qualm is at the moment. And that's when I know, like, we're out of alignment. Okay. So that's a really quick gut check that you can do. Whatever the coworker did, whatever the, whatever the co-worker did, whatever the lover did, whatever the mother or father or parent did, if that's not a way you would treat them, then it's not a way that you should be treated. Number 5, I will trust my gut. If I get a bad feeling, I won't try to push it away and make excuses. I will trust myself. This is the first line of defense. Your first instinct about a situation is always the right instinct. I had such a big, powerful lesson about that this year. I did not trust something. No, that's not true. That's not true. I, in fact, did trust it. I trusted it so much that I spoke to it right away. As soon as I caught it and it was happening, I was like, hey, I think this is happening. But everyone has free will. And not everybody's really comfortable and able to be called out on their stuff, or to look at it, or whatever the case may be. But as the year meandered on, what my angels and the person involved showed me was that what I had thought was exactly right. For whatever reason, that was not the way that they wanted to convey it, or they wanted me to see it that way, or they were evolving in their own way. I don't know. There was no real concrete answers given as to why the path was meandered that way. But the thing that I caught when I caught it, and I caught it right away, and I said, hey, this is weird. What's going on here? And I was kind of talked out of it, but my soul said, write this down, like, mark this, because you didn't get it wrong. And so the way that I am, my energy is as teacher and historian, I was able to document why my gut never has lied to me. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. It doesn't mean it's the end of that connection. What it means is that my angels never lied. That's what it means. The end. And then empirically that means something else. That for whatever reason, a person that may care about you, a person that may have good intentions, or people that are wildly toxic, because not everybody cares about you who has good intentions, will lie to you for whatever their reasons are. And you may never understand the actual why, but that instinct, that gut instinct, saves you from deep heartbreak and disappointment. When we arrived at the place where they were ready to tell me a truth, the truth that I knew, I was like, well, here we are. Frustrated I was, but not devastated, because I told them that was the truth at the beginning, even though they told me it wasn't the truth. Does that make sense, guys? So trust your gut instinct. Again, I wouldn't call that situation toxic, but it was a really good example of, it doesn't matter how good it ends up or how bad it ends up, your instincts never lie to you, okay? So that's the truth. Number 6, I understand that it's better to be single than in a toxic relationship. This one's tough for us recovering codependence, yeah? For us lovers of love, and I am a lover of love. I love love, y'all. I love my friendships. I love the people in my life ferociously. I do, because this is what I do. I love relationship energy, and I'm talking to you guys all day, my collective, my clients. I'm learning through them as well. But you cannot just stay in a relationship just because that will wear and tear on your soul and your self-esteem. And before you know it, you are just a shell of yourself and the person that used to be seen and that you used to know. You don't know who's looking back in the mirror at you, but but not wanting to be alone is a hell of a drug. It's like cocaine, and it's a way that we can get ourselves embroiled in being in these low vibrational relationships. And what happens here, and this is why this is really important from a spiritual perspective, if you continue to stay in the low vibrational toxic relationship that doesn't serve you, makes you foggy, whatever. You guys remember the narcissist fog. When you're with the narcissist, you will not be able to think clearly for whatever reason, right? It's because they operate out of the spirit of confusion. If we were going to talk about it from a Christian perspective, there's demonic energy that they're trafficking in. And one of those spirits is confusion, specifically depression, misunderstanding, miscommunication. They thrive on it. Word salads, right? They're not saying anything. They're saying a lot of nothing. When you continue to stay in a situation like that, you tell the universe, I like this. I want more of it. And you may be like, no, Monette, I hate this. I hated it. I cried about it. I watched Dr. Romney. I listened to Dr. Sam Finken. I want nothing to do with it. But if you don't nip something in the bud or speak it to it when it's happening, or say, no, this isn't right, or if you linger there just out of specifically, if you're in the relationship and it's absolutely, they're being mean to you every day and whatever the things are that they're doing, and you stay, you tell the universe, I like it here. And so they'll send more of that your way. So that's why you really shouldn't stay. Not just because you shouldn't for the sake of the pledge, but because you will become an energetic vibrational match to BS. And that's not really who you are. That's just where you might be because of unhealed codependency. Okay? Number 7. I will not be spoken to in a condescending or sarcastic way. Loving partners will not patronize me. I'm going to tell you something about this. This one's so tricky, right? We'd love that to be an absolute. Anybody that's ever been inside of a relationship, a marriage, or a partnership knows this. Your spouses can be wild as a damn Taliban sometimes. Well, you can be wild, myself included, as a Taliban sometimes. So we are not always speaking in our most loving, light language to each other. But you guys know when it's entered into a realm of toxicity. We have humanity and our shadow side, and that will definitely come out if you're with somebody for any length of time. So I want to offer nuance there. But I will tell you this, if it's happening repeatedly, and it's happening in such a way that it's like you can't stop tallying it, then that's a real problem. And that will start to break you down because you'll just get used to it. And then again, you'll invite more of that from other areas of your life. Even if it's not a lover, it could be a friend, it could be a boss, it could be a co-worker. Number 8, I will not allow my partner to call me jealous, crazy, or any other dismissive accusation. Narcissists love to triangulate you and then dismiss you. So don't get in that game. If you feel jealous or there's a reason, no, we all are jealous. That's human nature, right? But that is about feeling something about not having something. When you feel jealous, you're concerned about what you don't have. So are you being triangulated? Are you being made to feel bad? Is there some purposeful thing that's happening here? If there is, let's get really clear about about that. Little jealousies will happen in relationships. That's also a normal part. But here's the thing. It's really hard for us to discern once we've been in these connections. Does that make sense? It's really hard for us to start to understand, like, oh no, this is not just normal relationship fodder. This is a toxic, bad line of behavior. Number 9, my relationship will be mutual and equal at all times. Love is not about control and power. Love is truly about release. The person that I've loved probably the most in my life, I have been willing to release. When I really love someone, if I can tell that staying in close proximity to me is going to be detrimental to them or to me, I will release it. Even if I love them, even if I like them, even if I feel addicted, okay? Or if I feel like, and all of that stuff. Because I'm always working on up-leveling and healing and acknowledging my previous codependency. And how I can be that way. And how we as empaths can be that way. And so I put that to the test. And I had some Scorpio placements in my chart that helped me do that as well in the 8th house. Where relationships were ending so weirdly and so toxically and brutally, and I was like, what is happening? Am I the common denominator? And what my angels were doing was getting me to understand that we will break your heart repeatedly until you understand to release people. Stop holding on so tight, the people that don't want to be held on to. It was such a powerful lesson, but once I had the final shatter that up-leveled me into my kind of like a dark night of the soul and spiritual evolution, I realized that it was a superpower that I really acquired, where it's like, I don't care how much I like you, I understand that, you know, we came in by ourselves and we leave by ourselves. And so God's plan or not God's plan, if someone's being incredibly difficult or hard to work with, they're being really toxic, then cut them. You need to cut it. You just cut them out. Now, that's easier said than done. And it took me a lot of really hard lessons before I realized I much rather let go than to be crying about this in a therapist's office 7 years from now. Make sense? That part. All right, number 10. If I ever feel unsure about any of these steps, I will seek out help from a friend, support forum, or a therapist. I will not act on impulsive decisions. Yeah, if you feel any of this and you have a confidant or friend, talk to somebody, or even better, pick up Psychopath Free. Psychopath Free, recovering from emotionally abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and other toxic people, by Jackson Mackenzie. So there's also a test for do you know a psychopath? Take the test inside. So I'll come back with another video and we'll take the test and see, do you know a psychopath? Have you known a psychopath? If you have, comment below. I love reading your comments. You guys don't realize how that helps heal other people that stumble upon this video whenever they do. Anyway, guys, so good sharing energy with you. Reflect and review over those 10 things and see if they resonate with you in any kind of way. Trust your gut. It always has something to say, and it never ever leads you astray. And know that you deserve to be in loving, healthy partnerships with people that value the very beautiful divine feminine soul that you are and what you bring to the table, because you are the table. You are the prize. All right, guys, so good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time. We'll continue to evolve together.